You're in line for one more fine time.
Hello, holiday people. We're back. It's your boy Dre, and Steve is here again.
Ho, ho, ho.
Who you calling a hoe?
Oh, ho, no?
Ain't no hoes. Actually, there's plenty of hoes. We support hoes on this podcast. Well, we're back again. We have watched another fighting game OVA, again made for TV. This one, Samurai Showdown, the motion picture, as it was dubbed here, when it was brought here by AD Vision. Remember AD Vision, Steve?
Yes, from the foreign land of Texas.
They sure were. Because I have sent a money order to AD Vision in Texas to get anime tapes.
Money order? What the hell is that, Andre?
I know, right? And I guess let's just start here. This is the first anime I ever bought and watched on my own accord. I can't say it's the first anime I ever seen. I'm pretty sure I had seen like Dragon Ball Z, and I don't know if I ever told you this. Some of the Spanish stations we used to pick up over the air would show Dragon Ball Z. Mm-hmm. So I'd watch like a dub Spanish version sometimes, which is like wild. I didn't know what was going on, of course, but I liked it. And, you know, there was like stuff like Samurai Pizza Cats or whatever. So it's not like strictly the first anime I had ever seen, but I consider it my first anime trademark. We need the little twinkle before the dick. This was not animated by Dick.
Definitely not animated by Deke. No.
Okay. So let's just get right into it. 30 seconds. What the fuck is Samurai Showdown? It's a staple of the Neo Geo lineup. There was like what, 5 of them on Neo Geo, 5.5 of them, and then the series has continued from there. There was a reboot in 2019, still continues today. You know, I think for me, Steve, and I didn't realize this until we started, you know, watching this. I think Samurai Showdown for me was like the first time I ever encountered like feudal Japan or like magical feudal Japan. Well before Samurai Warriors or any other stuff like that. I don't know about you.
I think it's neck and neck between this and Mystical Ninja for that sort of thing for me, because they sure like to portray that period in that, yeah, we have the castles and things, but also here's a ghost cat. Yay.
I've never really gotten on the Mystical Ninja train. I should really just ROM them all sometime and just play them all.
But M2 might be working on that right now.
I really hope they are, because Konami lets them do whatever the fuck they want. So, from game to anime, we'll do it again. So, the game Samurai Showdown came out July 7th, 1993, and that sounds right, because I remember that playing. That was my summer of 93 at the arcades, was playing this game, well into the fall, too. God damn, I played this game a lot. And the anime came out September 8th, 1994. And again, just like Art of Fighting last week, it was produced for TV by NAS and Comet Studio.
Was it about the same time of a delay, though? Because there was like something of a 3-4 year delay last week for Art of Fighting in Japan and Art of Fighting here. Did we have to... Not that it really matters here for Samurai Showdown, because, spoiler alert, this is actually good.
It is actually good, believe it or not. Well, 97 here was the US date here. So it didn't come out here that late. And like I said, it was my first anime, and I started buying anime in like 95. So it had to have at least been here by then, obviously. So it came here to America before Art of Fighting did.
Oh, I mean, I guess that's better for... It was a different time, kids.
What? Like, I mean...
Well, you know, I mean, Samurai Showdown is better, but, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about this in a little bit later, but, you know, it's not like today where it's going to pop up on Crunchyroll with subtitles immediately after broadcast, you know?
It is so crazy that that's a thing nowadays. That is so fucking cool. Imagine if we had that back in the day.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Forget it. I'd be an even fatter fat ass than I am now.
We'd be the two fattest fat asses in the history of
I would
fat.
have never stood a chance.
Dude, you think we're fat now? Jesus, I can't imagine. Anyway, so tell me your history of Samurai Showdown. Did you play it when it came out? Did you like it? Did you get into it later? What's your deal here?
You know, I don't know. Remember if it was 1993, but I like Samurai Showdown. It's weird because the first one in particular was in every Neo Geo cabinet I could find here, and I mean all of them, even the seedy bowling alley, not the good bowling alley that you weren't afraid to go to, like the seedier one that you ended up at sometimes. That had the one slot Neo Geo. Could you imagine actually buying the one slot Neo Geo for your place of business?
I mean, that's just so weird. I don't know why you would do that. Now, I did a lot of Neo Geo bowling alley shenanigans myself. That's where I first saw a Neo Geo, because when I was a kid, we used to do like Saturday morning bowling every week. So after that, we'd go to the arcade and I'd play Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat or whatever and gawk at the fatalities, and there'd be a Neo Geo there. And so I played a lot of Samurai Showdown, not just there, but, everywhere, because it was that popular. It's easy to forget that those original games were very popular arcade games. But yeah, I love Samurai Showdown. As I said, I first picked Hanzo Hattori, and I was fascinated that there was like an American ninja character in Galford with a damn dog to boot. I really got into using Kyoshiro, even though I had no idea what Kabuki was. But I really liked using Kyoshiro. I loved cheesing my ass off with Genan, just doing like the roll real fast over and over. I mean, because it came out so light.
Oh,
and
that
fast.
was you. Okay.
Yeah, it's so cheap. And it worked.
Yeah, it did.
If I really wanted to beat the game against a cheap ass AI, I would use Genan.
I mostly just use Gelford because he had the dog, I had a dog. That's how your little kid brain works.
I was like, I guess I like the freaks. I'm a freak. Like I said, this is the first anime I ever bought on VHS with my own money, and it was like my gateway drug into anime, of course. And no, I will not needlessly defend its honor just because I lost my virginity to it. And
was it good for you, Andre?
I mean, it was at the time, but that's the thing, right? Before I watched this again, I always thought of this as like not really that good, so much as just like good fan service. But like, honestly, it actually is better than I remembered. So let's just get into some highlights, shall we? Let's get right into it.
Yeah. Okay. So unlike Art of Fighting, which did whatever the hell that was, listen to that episode for more on that. Samurai Showdown in general kind of gets to cheat a little bit with the benefit of being able to borrow from Shambara films. For those sitting at home, those are samurai movies. Steve, what the hell is that have to do with anything? They're all very artsy, but they all very largely play out the same-ish. If you guys played Trek to Yomi, you kind of have a general idea of what that kind of format looks like for that. So let's start from the beginning. You got the big ass war, those beautifully painted stills of the guys fighting, and then it just cuts to Nakaruru, who just blurts out in a monotone worse than mine, "The very earth is shaking." And then they just shake cells for 2 minutes while they cut to the other holy warriors. Oh no. Roro. Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I love Galford's like, oh no. Or like they should have just cut in Knuckles going, oh no. I know that didn't exist yet. I know that didn't exist yet.
So they have this whole opening thing, which makes no. Well, I guess it makes. You're not. It's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to be flashy as fuck.
They established a villain at Moxa Shiro, and she just she kills them all, and they all turn into souls, like bright red souls, and she tries to kill those, and they just scatter to the seven winds. And she's like, "No, I couldn't contain them, but that's all right. In 100 years, the real anime will begin once they're reborn." And then like it cuts to Samurai Showdown, the motion picture.
I find it interesting that you used she for the villain.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about that right up front. So, in any other Samurai Showdown media, all of it, Amaxashiro is male. But just in this anime, and I fear just in the American dub of this anime, she is female. This is not a thing in any other game or media. I don't really know how this happened. Maybe the localizer saw an effeminate man and just thought they were a woman. Steve, I really don't know what happened here.
I couldn't find the Japanese voice track to watch proper, but I did have a look at the Japanese cast list, and they're voiced by, oh man, I'm gonna fuck this up, I'm sorry, Yu Daki, and she voices Yakuza's Karu Sayama. So I think this was a choice they made, and I can't speak to what choice they were trying to make in the 90s, but I think the choice was Shiro's a woman here.
I think our American localizers got confused and they didn't have enough information. I really think that's what happened.
But there was a woman in Japan too. I mean,
Yeah, but that's more common in Japan for a woman to voice a male character. Like Goku is voiced by a woman, right? Or,
yeah.
You know, like that's common. I don't know, but whatever. And in the context of this, Amaxashiro is a woman. But anyway.
So yeah, the souls are scattered to the winds or whatever because, anime. And we cut to 100 years plus later where Haomaru beats the snot out of a dojo. And just the way that only a main character can. And Galford and company are already there too.
I guess they're there, but they see him do this and it's like, well, he's not a samurai at all. He can't be the one we're looking for. Bye. And then it's like, he just whooped the shit out of his dojo. Why are you saying that?
And he's got these other, but he's doing other fun samurai things too. Like he's slashing a hornet's nest, one hornet at a time, save for one that stings his ass. And
1, 2, and 3, and 4, and you, and you, and you, and you.
And he stabs a fucking bear, and even earlier on, he tames a fucking bull while throwing signs up in the air, and then catches him up again on the way down. And that's what I wanted to ask you. You're studying Japanese on the internet better than I am. Do those signs say anything like samurai-y related that makes the scene more whatever-y, or are they just...
The only thing I caught from those signs is that they all had the kanji do or michi, which means like road or way, but it could also mean like the way you do something, not like a literal road or path. That's why like this is the same do in like judo or kendo, right? Because that's like the way of the fist or the way of the, you know what I mean? Like that's literally what kendo means. So it's that kind of way as well. But no, I don't think they said anything funny. I think they were just standard dojo signs.
Yeah, you know me. I'm a Simpsons guy, and I like my sign jokes and things I have to pause to find out. But this was before the time where we just stuck subtitles on that sort of thing.
But going back to that bear real quick, the white blood that comes out of that bear. I mean, at the time I was like, oh no, I got the American sanitized dub version. But now I realize this was made for TV, so they couldn't just show all that. They had to pick their spots when to show blood or not, and that was not it.
The bear bleeds white. It's for the greater good.
Well, it was funny because if you remember any Neo Geo cabinet, you could turn the blood white. You know, if you were in a spot where, you know, you didn't want that to be shown, like a Chuck E. Cheese or something, or right? Like you could turn the blood white. So I thought it was kind of a nod to that, but I guess maybe it was.
Yeah, and you are giving them some credit. Have you ever seen a Neo Geo or Chuck E. Cheese? I think I would have enjoyed my visits there a lot more if they had.
I have literally never been to a Chuck E. Cheese, so I have no idea.
Oh, you're better off. By the time I was going, I was too old past the Atari days, and the one real arcade game they had was X-Men, and I liked it at the time, but you can only beat it so many times with everyone else at the arcade.
I mean, our quote unquote real arcade did have an X-Men cabinet, and you know me though, I don't actually like that game, so whatever. So this anime has really great fan service, as I said up front. Like my favorite characters ultimately to use back in the day were Kyoshiro. He was my absolute favorite. Kyoshiro Senryo, Jubei, and Hanzo. Hanzo is who I started with. Guess who all show up in the next scene? All at once. You get to see Kyoshiro doing kabuki, and then he goes backstage and Jubei's waiting for him backstage, and then like Hanzo appears out of the shadows there. By the way, why does Hanzo sound like Darth Vader?
Look, I'll tell you why Hanzo sounds like Darth Vader, because in ADV Texas, okay, remember, you're wearing a mask the whole time. No one's entirely sure who you are. I find the Shogun's lack of faith disturbing. Fuck it, we're leaving it in.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, his voice was funny, but this is the good shit, man. Like, this is what I wanted. Think about Art of Fighting, where like almost all the characters who aren't Rio and Robert are just like take order thugs from Mr. Big, right? And when you buy an anime tape back in the day of your favorite fighting game, this is the stuff you hope for, and you get it in Samurai Showdown. It's really easy to forget what good fan services was, and I had forgot, because when I watched this, I was like, "Oh shit, this is fun." But yeah, anyway, I have to give credit where credit's due, considering what we watched last time.
I just got to point out how silly it was to that, and it happens more than once. They have the very Transformers-esque katana popping in and out to do scene transitions.
Like the screen wipe, like the katana. Yeah. Whoop. Okay, yeah.
Samurai Showdown.
Samurais in disguise. He doesn't remember who he is yet.
And speaking of that, we keep talking about the souls. Can we talk about how dumb it is that Amaru and the other holy warriors literally fell from the sky following the opening? Like they didn't reincarnate; they just show up wherever they showed up.
I like that baby Hamaru came complete with the sword in his little bonnet. It's really good.
Baby holy warriors come with everything you see here.
But they should have them bust through the ice wall that they always did in the 90s, that nondescript ice wall.
Maru!
Maru! Amaxashiro drives in on a motorcycle.
Don't forget to pick up Galford and the fast biting poppy action.
100 bites a minute. Oh, excuse me. According to this anime, puppy, not poppy. Someone fucked that up. I don't know how they got puppy.
Oh, come on. That's so much easier to mess up. I would even throw them enough of a bone to say it was a term of endearment for the dog because, puppy, he feels bad.
But the dog's name is Poppy. Whatever. Anyway.
Okay. I you know what? Because I'm never going to find another place to mention this again. A long time ago, ADV also did the dub for Fire Emblem OVA, and that was before it came here. So I don't know what they were smoking when they thought that was a good idea.
It probably wasn't.
And they get Marth's name right exactly one time. And they not only do they get it right one time, they just say his name as Mars the rest of the dub, and they get it wrong in the same sentence. The king gets mad at him. He's like, Mars, come back. And then everyone else just says Mars for the rest of the two episodes. I'm like, oh my God. I saw it in like 2002 or 3. I'm like, this is
oh Lord, that's bad.
This is what I'm like. Puppy is a little easier, I think.
Sure.
At least Poppy is a puppy, you know.
Yeah. That reminds me. One of these days, we've got to watch Ys. We have to. It's like a 6-episode OAV from like 89, 90. It covers the first game, I think.
I just remember you sending me a clip of that a while ago, and I guess it's supposed to be the Rototree. The Rototree going, Ado Christian.
Ado Christian. He kept saying it. It's like, okay, Rotatree. I get it. Anyway. Generally good fight scenes in Samurai Showdown, huh? Especially when they get going with those soldiers who also spew white blood. Like that was great. Especially Spence, and this is the perfect time to talk about it. They do the fucking moves from the game, Steve. They do the moves. Holy shit, how much have we complained about this in other stuff that we watched?
I'm not the guy that's playing Samurai Showdown at Evo or whatever, but I can tell you that if we saw a Samurai Showdown character in Samurai Showdown, the motion picture, you saw at least one move.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that made Andre's $40 VHS purchase worth it.
Oh, yeah. Come on. You get it all here. Like, not even 4 minutes into this anime, Wanfu does the thing where he jumps and does the flaming sword into the ground and boom, an explosion to a Shiro. Like Earthquake does the rolling attack. Hamaru does the tornado. Senpun Retsun. You know, he actually, the American voice actor actually said that really good. Hats off to them.
I'm just more impressed that after last week, Earthquake was doing his moves, because after we saw Jack not doing moves last week in Art of Fighting, like, so they do know how to draw fat guys doing things. Okay.
Yeah. Earthquake did all the fat guy things. He didn't do the fart, though. I'm kind of glad he didn't do that.
The fart is a bridge too far. You know, you already got to do white blood for a lot of this.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, everybody does everything. Galford does Thunderblade. Poppy does the flaming dog thing. And then, like, in the courtyard and battle scenes, like, everybody does a thing. Even Nakaruru has Mama Haha, like, do the flaming, you know, like, even Kyoshiro, as little as he's in this, he does, like, the spinning around the blade thing and does, like, the kick, which is, like, very comical to see animated, but
I'm sure the one guy at home was like, I don't think he's going to be at this at all. And then he does the kick. It's like, yeah, he did the thing.
That was me. I'm the guy at home. That was me when I was 13 years old. That was great, man. I love those scenes. And not only is it just good action, it was just, they did the moves. Finally, they did the moves. Earlier this year, we did Darkstalkers, the American cartoon, and they very rarely did the moves, and it took them 5 episodes to do the moves. And only Anakaris did, like, the pyramid kick thing where his feet turns into a pyramid. That's it.
That was very generous to say that even happened.
And that was like a normal move. That wasn't even a special move. No, he did the snake arms thing. Yeah. Anyway.
But I mean, yes, they have very good fight scenes. And it's a good thing they have very good fight scenes, because, like I keep saying, the plot is pointless. They eventually all get caught in the gunk of whatever. And you know what gets them out? The power of friendship. After the power of friendship prevents them from getting through to Hamaru, who's real angry about stuff, because this is a Shambara movie at heart, and the samurai needs to get real prideful about things before doing the right thing later on.
Yeah, but, like, before that, they also made, like, a portal through the power of friendship that Charlotte dove and tackled Hamaru through to take him away back to his village. And it's just like, that didn't make any fucking sense. Like, what? How come they were able to do that?
I'm still trying to figure out why Charlotte Gelford and everyone else made it to just Japan right when it was time for.
Yeah, Tam Tam was there too, like.
And Charlotte's got a lot of screen time too. She's trying to give the pep talk to Hamaru. You've got a greater destiny. I don't know why that became Morgan somehow, but
that's basically.
and then basically what happens after that? Destiny. That's our word of the day. And then awakened samurai noises happened. Get sliced down the middle.
Yeah. Do you like how when Gainen was like...
Gainen, sorry.
Yeah, when he got to the house, he's like, hey, I found you. And then, like, I'm surprised he didn't do the 90s anime villain lick the blade, like his claw. He didn't do that. He stuck out his tongue, but he didn't actually, like, lick it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Because one of the assholes in Art of Fighting licked the blade. I was glad they did that. You got to do that if you're a 90s anime villain.
It's the law.
Yeah. But yeah, he just, Hamaru wakes up and like 10 seconds flat is cutting him in half, which is like, holy shit. And then the children are like, yay!
The evil is defeated.
Let's see if I can do my best voice actor. Thanks a lot, brother Hamaru. Is that pretty good?
But their their home planet needs me because they somehow fly up to the castle.
Yeah. And he just secret technique blades through the barrier, but how did they fly up there? That doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all.
Doesn't matter. Awesome fight scene at the top.
Oh, it was great. Oh, them fighting Amaxa Shiro. Yeah, sure. That was pretty graphic when he stabbed Amaxa, right? That was not white blood, and you got to like see it. I guess because it's like an impactful moment or whatever, but like they sure picked their spots of when to like not cheap out on that.
Well, when you use the power of friendship and the power of the inner samurai within the people, that's when you get to bleed the red blood out of the villain.
I guess so. I don't know.
And then and only then will they realize the error of their ways and then suddenly become good or whatever the heck they were trying to do toward the end there.
Yeah, that's what they did with her. Yeah, I turned to the dark side. Now kill the smoke monster. Okay, we killed the smoke monster in 5 seconds. So, whatever.
And the evil is defeated.
And then you hear a badass ending song. Yo, man, that is like 90s J pop rock in a nutshell. I loved that shit. Secret Confession, not so secret. I used to rewind my VHS tape to listen to that shit, man. If you could say, that was probably my gateway drug into like listening to Japanese music. That ending song. There's a lot of firsts for me with the Samurai Showdown, the motion picture.
I just had a weird memory of waking at the end of getting to the end and listening to that song. Like, original Japanese cast will follow the English cast.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because you had to hard code in your own credits, so you have to do what you have to do. I love that song.
This was a time capsule, Andre.
I know. Look, you always say you don't listen to me. Tell me that song wasn't great. Tell me that wasn't a slice of excellent 90s cheese.
It was, but I was never in the habit of rewinding a videotape again and again. Probably
That's
because
not what I fucking asked you, okay?
Okay, you know what? Some of us are traumatized from the time our mother worked at Blockbuster and we had to rewind tapes all the time.
Oh my God, I don't want to hear this. So this is something. This is something I didn't think about at all until I read a YouTube comment that mentioned it, Steve. There's a character missing from this anime that's in the original Samurai Showdown. Can you think of who it is?
No.
Hamaru's rival. Ukyo. With the blue hair. Who has tuberculosis. And he coughs and blood. Yeah. He's not there.
I guess if he was there, you'd have to make the movie about that.
Yeah, because it'd be kind of about those two, right? Because that's kind of their story in the first game, I was such a shitty Ukyo player, but I really liked to use him. He was kind of a weirdo, but I enjoyed him. Anyway, you know how you can tell when they're trying to cram a voice line into like a much shorter Japanese lip flap window than they're afforded for their English line. So they just like really rush it. It's like, I'm going to get you now. It's just like trying to get it out there. That happens a lot in Samurai Showdown.
I mean, you're right. And this is where I need to be boring for the kids for a second, and because we don't see or hear too much of this now, as we have, more bigger standards for the global market, as we kept talking, how we keep getting anime the next day.
Incredible.
But, and believe me, I think this is mostly better, but these were concessions we all took as fans, if we wanted to expand our horizons and watch something from another country in general, not just in Japanese, we either had to read along with subtitles or just deal with dubs of varying quality, and neither of those solutions were really 100% able to convey original intent. Probably why this sort of product was popular with dubbing with distributors in the first place, like Godzilla or, even these samurai films just have less nuance to deal with and dialogue to deal with. I mean, it's why other media, when they make fun of this sort of thing, that's where they'll go to first. The bad dubbing. It's just part of media history. And, we don't see that too much anymore.
We don't. And I think, I don't know, maybe just because we're old or whatever, we're just kind of accepting of this sort of period of dubbing. It just was what it was. Because because we watched this on YouTube, other YouTube videos I saw when I searched for this is like 4 minutes of funny Samurai Showdown dub lines and shit like that. So I guess people think this shit's like particularly funny. I don't know. I don't think it's any better or worse than any other 90s dub, but what the hell do I know?
Well, Samurai Showdown, as we mentioned earlier, is a video game people like. And so I'm sure people's attention were drawn to this, and that's how they find, look at these line reads. So she sure keeps saying Hamaru funny, and
that did stick out to me from Amaxa. Die Hamaru. It was a lot.
I think it's just as easy as that, really, in this particular instance.
I don't know. Is there any? I know you found a lot of gems in the Art of Fighting dub. Did you see any like notable actors in this dub? I don't really. You know the actor stuff more than me.
Yeah, not as much good times as last time, but I mean, we do have Wendy Lee, who was child A here. Yeah, big deal, right? We're child A. But, well, you'd probably know her better as Faye Valentine in the Cowboy Bebop dub and a bazillion other parts since then. So, something, no small roles and all that. Earthquake's actor would eventually marry Goro's mother's actor. There was this Hamaru's friend had a mother or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen Goro? Yeah, I don't know.
Have you seen Goro? Did their chemistry begin when he literally sunk his hooks into her? Probably not. Probably not. They split a number of years ago, but I thought that was like an interesting thing because but
Matthew Greenfield sounds like a name that I know, though. That's not the first time I've ever heard that.
He founded ADV.
Okay, there you go. Jesus fucking Christ!
When you own the company, you get to voice the characters.
That's so wild.
I want to be the Earthquake. Okay, you're the boss.
Wow. Okay. Did you find any lines funny? I found it funny. I found it funny what a doofus Hamaru was, especially when he cut up the bull raging through the town, and the guy's like, "You saved us. You saved our lives." Yep, I did. Bye. Like, why was he so sassy? It's weird.
We already went through most of them, like the opening line reads and Hanzo with the mask on and all that. But there's just one line where Galfer just shows up trying to be, triumphant or whatever. Have no fear, Galford's here.
I think he sounded a little more lively than that, but not much.
Not by much, Andre.
Not by much. There was one line that stuck out to me, and I don't know why. And I hadn't seen this thing since I had bought it, right? When Amaxa is giving those speeches to the Tokugawa shogun, and he's like, yes, I will follow everything you say, Amaxa. You are blah, blah, blah. And then like Hanzo's listening in and she notices Hanzo. She goes, a fly on the wall. And then Hanzo disappears. She goes, fly home. I'll swat you later. I'm surprised she didn't do that.
Maybe she does in the original recording that we can't find anywhere.
No, we can't.
People at home who have seen the original recording, does she do this?
You know what's funny, though, from ADV? They didn't offer a subtitled version of this. There was only a dub. This was one of those ones where you couldn't pick. So they probably didn't have the rights to the original one.
Now, kids, back in the day, you could usually get a subtitled version of many of your favorite anime, but you had to make a choice. You either had to get the dub tape or the subtitle tape.
Yes, you had to choose.
And they were both expensive as fuck.
And the dub was always more because you had to charge more to pay the voice actors. So cheaper was subtitled.
DVD was wonderful because you could just cram both of them on the same disc.
Sure could. Okay. We at the end of Art of Fighting, we asked, like, was this good and does it matter? We're gonna ask the same question here, and you know what? Samurai Showdown was a lot better than I remembered it being. I was prepared to come in here and say the same thing I said about Art of Fighting, where it's like, no, it's not good, but it's short and it's worth watching for aesthetic and yada yada. Samurai Showdown is a much more serviceable OAV. I'm sorry I still say OAV than Art of Fighting. Again, I'd be hard pressed to say that it's like that good, but it's a lot more fun to watch, and they do all the goofy ass moves. Everyone does the move. So that's all I came here for, and that's what I got. So mission accomplished for Samurai Showdown, Steve.
Well, at first I didn't know this existed as a motion picture. I guess I really should have, because as I mentioned last time, SNK had a bunch of these. Fatal Fury has the motion picture. But what was I going to say? The way you kept hyping it up, and I try not to let the way people hype up mention things like they're doing moves and it was real flashy and real cool. There's real good music at the end. I'm like, okay, if this is half as good as you're hyping it up to be, this might be the best in the list we got coming up. That's all
I can hope for. They do see how much doing the moves does for you in an fighting game anime, everybody. It's the most basic bitch thing you can do.
I mean, better than I thought it'd be, and I was already hoping for something good, so good choice, Andre.
Well,
and we never have to see anything bad ever again, right?
Right? Next week we are watching another motion picture that I have not seen and you have never seen, Tekken, the motion picture. I've heard stories, but we won't know until we watch it. But until then, we'll see you next week. For that, follow us on Twitter at Fine Time Podcast. See you next time. Bye.